Jurassic World Rebirth turned up, and the reaction was about as lively as an empty cinema. The general consensus is that it might just be the dumbest entry in the series so far. Don't believe me? I'll break the script down for you to see just how stupid it gets, and catch you up if you didn't bother watching. Right out of the gate, the movie throws one of the most laughable opening disasters I've ever seen. A scientist drops a candy wrapper. The wrapper gets sucked into a vent. The vent shorts out. The system collapses, and suddenly, the genetically altered T-Rex is free. That's the movie's idea of high-stakes sabotage. A piece of trash takes down $1 billion security system. Forget high-tech hacking, coordinated attacks, or system-wide malfunctions. What brings it all down is someone dropping their garbage.
What?
Then we jump ahead to the present. Years after Dominion, and dinosaurs are apparently old news. Nobody cares anymore. The logic is that they can only survive near the equator, so they're dying off everywhere else. That at least gives an internal logic for the film. But the idea that in just 5 years the public has become so bored of dinosaurs that museums are shutting down their exhibits is ridiculous. Imagine trying to convince anyone that a living triceratops is too boring to visit. If your story starts with the world not giving a damn, then why should the audience? Anyway, the main setup is this. A healthcare tycoon wants to make a heart disease cure, but the recipe requires blood from 3 dinosaur species. So he assembles his dream squad. Zora, the discount Black Widow played by Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Dr. Loomis, who looks like he's one bad day from losing his medical license, and Duncan the mercenary whose personality begins and ends with owning a gun. The rest? Just red shirts waiting to get eaten. There isn't one character to root for. And the whole recruiting pitch is laughable. Martin brags that this miracle drug will out-earn God himself, then waves few million in Black Widow's face like it's pocket change. That's her reward for collecting blood samples that could rewrite medical history. Still, she says yes. The team is assembled, and off we go. But God forbid the film stick with that premise. Instead, it bolts on a random family subplot. A family on a farewell sailing trip decides to cut straight through waters crawling with dinosaurs. Dad insists he's sailed here before, which directly contradicts the movie's own setup saying that these seas are deadly. And sure enough, a mosasaurus attacks them. Instead of eating everyone on board, it lets the crew swoop in for a rescue. And instead of doing the logical thing, taking the family home, they drag them along because the plot says there's no time. What do you mean there is no time? Who are they racing against? Is there a rival team who is trying to do the same so they need to do it faster? Absolutely no. We don't see any other rival team. The mission continues. They actually manage to draw blood from the mosasaurus, but then a swarm of Spinosaurus forces the boat onto shore. Their solution is to ram the beach at full speed. During the chaos, the family jumps into the ocean miles from land. Somehow, instead of drowning, they magically make it to shore ahead of the professionals.
Meanwhile,
a background crew member who should have been turned into paste in the engine room strolls out completely fine. Dina, a character teased as important, dies instantly. And Duncan sprints into the surf screaming her name as if she's going to suddenly swim back. The movie clearly wants its shocking moment, but they give it to a character we barely even knew. The writers forgot what character development even means.
Are you stupid or something?
Once everyone's on the island, the logic gets even dumber. The story splits between the family and the main team. Dinosaurs suddenly forget how to kill people whenever kids are nearby. At one point, the boyfriend wanders into a dark forest at night to pee. Raptors move in, but instead of tearing him apart, a tree-dwelling hybrid swoops down and saves him. If that thing was hunting the area, why didn't it attack earlier? It's not like it's vegetarian. After that, the family builds a campfire in the middle of the jungle with no shelter and somehow doesn't attract a single predator until sunrise, because apparently, dinosaurs respect bedtime. Their plan is to reach an abandoned village by following geothermal pipes. On the way, the little sister bumps into a baby dinosaur and immediately tames it by handing it some candy. No parents around, no herd, just a random hatchling wandering through one of the deadliest islands in the world. In reality, it wouldn't last 5 minutes. But the second it finds the family, it's magically safe. Eventually, they need a raft that's parked right beside a sleeping T-Rex. The smart move would be to quietly inflate it out of sight. Instead, Teresa fires it up right next to the dinosaur's face. Naturally, it wakes up, stomps toward the water, and we get a chase where it somehow fails to catch them at point-blank range. They escape through a conveniently placed rock formation. But instead of just walking around it on land, the Rex gives up. The raft then disappears, only to reappear later exactly where the family needs it. Physics Ethics, continuity, common sense, all of it is on vacation. Back on the beach, Martin announces that the island is swarming with mutated dinosaurs. Sounds exciting, right? Wrong. We only meet two of them, the winged Mutodon and the bulked-up T-Rex from the opening. That's it. The team carries on with the mission while Duncan insists they should rescue the family. Everyone ignores him. Zora, who previously wanted to help the family, suddenly decides money is more important, even though the movie tells us she's already successful in shady side jobs. Dr. Loomis doesn't even react, like the writers forgot he existed. Then Martin stumbles across a crashed helicopter with the pilot still dangling from it, conveniently holding a pistol. Clearly this isn't for story logic, it's just a lazy way to arm the villain. The crew collects the second blood sample, and the third requires rappelling into a pterosaur nest to grab one from an egg. The entire plan works only if the parents don't come home. Of course, mid-climb, Zora randomly announces that she wants to release the research to the public for free. The character motivation suddenly changes, and writers think this is what character development looks like. Predictably, someone bangs a hammer into the rock like they're ringing a dinner bell. A pterosaur swoops in. He sacrifices himself to save Zora and Loomis, but since he had no way out anyway, it doesn't feel like a real choice, just another plot convenience. Loomis's rope gets tangled. He's flung into a cliff and then falls into a pond. Somehow he survives completely unharmed. Meanwhile, Duncan and Martin find a secret tunnel that leads directly to where Loomis just landed. The sheer number of coincidences here is staggering. Everyone reunites at the compound just in time for the winged mutants to attack. But instead of diving from above like predators, they land and roar dramatically like they're auditioning for a stage play. The cast scatters. Loomis and Duncan run to the helipad. Zora and Martin hide under a car, and the family barricades themselves inside a gas station. They hold a door shut against a multi-ton creature, and somehow it works. Glass doesn't break, and when Martin gets dragged away, the dinosaur immediately forgets about him.
What?
Another mutant smashes through the roof. The dad distracts it, and the family escapes through a drain grate that conveniently exists in the middle of a convenience store. Loomis and Duncan stumble on a control room with a fully fueled, perfectly functioning boat. Meanwhile, the Rex sneaks around and no one hears a sound, despite being such a big creature. The original Jurassic Park showed the sound that footsteps of a T-Rex creates. Here, the monster moves like it's wearing slippers. Martin, who earlier stole Zora's car, randomly drives toward the docks instead of the helipad. The cast regroups in a tunnel blocked by bars. Isabella climbs out, the Rex creeps up behind her, and somehow doesn't notice. Then Martin barrels in with the car and rams it, which is about the dumbest thing anyone could do against a creature the size of a skyscraper. Conveniently, the attack frees the blood samples, dropping them right into Zora's hands. The crew runs for the boat while the Rex politely gives them a head start. Duncan grabs a flare to distract the predator. Instead of throwing it later and running, he waits until the Rex is practically nose to nose, then tosses it aside, and somehow survives. If you've ever seen how fast these things can move, you know that's impossible. But that's this movie in a nutshell. The danger always looks massive until the script suddenly deflates it. By the end, Jurassic World Rebirth is aggressively dumb. The original succeeded because the dinosaurs were terrifying and the people were vulnerable. In this one, the danger is toned down. The characters are untouchable and logic takes a back seat. That's why the movie falls apart. Thanks for watching, and let me know your take in the comments.